In this lesson, we're going to be learning some properties. So properties means the rules to evaluate expressions. And in the previous videos, we learned about numerical expressions and algebraic expression. So for numerical expressions, it might look like that. And for algebraic expression, it might look like this. But in this lesson, we're going to be learning some rules to calculate the expressions. And let's say we have this 3 plus 1. And we all know that 3 plus 1 is 4. But what about this time I want to switch the order of these two number. I want to switch these numbers. Let's say 1 plus 3. So it's still the 4, right? So for this process, we have a new name to describe. So it's called commutative property of addition. So basically is like if we add two numbers, the result will be the same by switching the order. And let's say we pick a letter. We call it variable, and we want this variable to represent some numbers, right? Let's say I pick letter A and represent any numbers. And I also want to pick another letter to represent any number as well. So we can call this variable, right? We just learned from previous videos. And I want to describe this first rule, the first property, by using the variables. And it will be A plus B equals B plus A. So it doesn't matter if we switch to order or not, the answer will still be the same. So let's say I give you an example. Let's say 1 plus 2. So it's still the same if we switch the order, like 2 plus 1. And let's check, right? For the left-hand side, we have a 1 plus 2, and it will give us 3, right? And for the right-hand side, 2 plus 1, it will give us 3 as well. So they are equal, which means this property works. And keep that in mind that this general form is important and you wanna memorize it. But what if I also have two numbers? Let's say I have 2, but this time I want to multiply by like 4. It will give us 8. What if right now I want to change the order of these two numbers? Like 4 times 2. It's still 8, right? So for this process, we also have a specific name to describe it. So we call it commutative property of multiplication. So instead of addition, we have to multiply something. We have multiplication. And it's the second rule. Property means the rules to calculate expression. So also, let's say I want to let letter A represent any numbers. And I also want to let letter B represent any numbers. So we can call it variable specifically. And the general rule, the general form to describe this property will be A times B equal B times A. And let's see one example. Let's say 3 times 4. And according to this property, we can switch the order, right? We can switch like 4 times 3. They are the same. And if you want to find out whether it's true or not, we can say for the left-hand side, we have 3 times 4 will be 12. And for the right-hand side, we have 4 times 3 will give us 12 as well. So they are equal. And this works. And I also want to box this property, and it's important. So let's say I have a 3 numbers right now. Let's say 1 plus 3 plus 2. But I also want to put the parentheses around number 1 and number 3. Then I want to evaluate, I want to calculate the final result. And remember, for the order of operation, whenever you first see the parentheses, then you have to evaluate the numbers inside the parentheses first. So inside the parentheses, we have 1 plus 3 will be 4, and then plus 2. And 4 plus 2 is 6. But what if I want to put the parentheses around 3 and 2? Will the answer be the same? So let's find out. And because we have the parentheses, so we gotta evaluate the numbers inside the parentheses. So we have 3 plus 2, it will be 5. And 1 plus 5 is 6. And yes, they are the same. To describe this process, we have a specific name for it. We call it associative property. And it means the result will be the same for addition and multiplication in the way numbers are grouped together. Let's say I want to use variables. Variable A represents numbers, and variable B represents numbers. Also for variable C, because we have 3 numbers right now, represent numbers as well. And write the general form, we have A plus B plus C equal A plus B plus C. And we want to put the parentheses around A and B. And also for the right hand side, we want to put the parentheses around B and C. This is for the addition. But remember, for this rules, it says multiplication and addition in the way numbers are grouped together. So we have to write multiplication. So A times B times C equal A times B times C. And we want to put the parentheses around A and B. For the right hand side, we put the parentheses around B and C. So this is the rule. And we want to do some examples. Let's say I have 5 plus 1, and I want to put the parentheses around them, and plus 3. According to the rule, according to associative property, we can rewrite it, right? We can rewrite this 3 numbers, 5 plus 1 plus 3, and I put the parentheses around 1 and 3. The result will be the same, and we can check it. Like for the left hand side, we have 5 plus 1 is 6, and then plus 3. 6 plus 3 is 9. And for the right-hand side, we have 5 plus, and inside the parentheses, we have the 1 plus 3, which is 4. And 5 plus 4 is 9, so they are equal. Second example, let's say 2 times 2 times 3. And I want to put the parentheses around these 2's. And according to the rules, the property, we can also put the parentheses around 2 and 3. So it's going to be 2 times 3. So let's check it, if that's true or not. So for the left-hand side, we have 2 times 2 is going to be 4. And 4 times 3 is 12. And for the right-hand side, evaluate the numbers inside the parentheses first. So 2 times 2 times 3 is 6. So 2 times 6 is 12. So they are equal. And yes, this property works.